Good morning, Brayden. I'm sorry that I'm not on the video where you can see me, but when I'm recording this for you, it's very early in the morning and it's dark in here, even with the lights on, because it's dark outside. And so when I turned on the camera, you couldn't hardly see me at all. So I'm sorry, but at some point I'll do you a video where you can see me, okay? All right, I hope you had a really good Christmas and you started out having a really good New Year. So we're ready to start our new assignment. So we're going to be working on our language today, okay? So make sure you have your language book out. Now we're going to start on page 99, which is a story, and I'm going to read that to you in just a second. But I want to show you first some pictures of a country named Honduras. Now, Honduras is in Central America. That means it's between North America and South America. So let's look at some pictures here. Aren't these pretty? There's a flag of Honduras. Now here's a map. It doesn't show us the whole thing, but let's look right up here in this little corner. Okay, right here, this is the map of the world, okay? Now, right up here is North America. This is where we live, okay? This is the continent of North America. Our house would be about right there where my pointer's pointing, okay? So that's our country. This country down here, it just shows part of it, but this is South America, okay? And this right here, this country is called Mexico, okay? All these little tiny countries right inside here, there's lots of little tiny countries. This is called Central America. The word central means middle. So Central America would mean Middle America. This is North America and South America. So what's in between? What's central? Central America. And Honduras is this black shape right here that they've shown you. And then on this part of the map, they just zoomed in so you could see it. Okay, so this right here that you see, this light color, is actually this dark color. It's just showing you on a big map where it's at. Now, not all of Honduras is on the ocean, is it? No, because only this part here and a little bit over here are on the ocean. This part right down in here, they're kind of like we are. They're kind of far from the ocean. Let's look at a couple more pictures of Honduras. Wow, that's pretty, huh? Now, do you think all parts of Honduras looks like this? Of course not. They're just showing us the pretty parts. This is probably the part of Honduras where people go on vacation. Now, this looks more real, doesn't it? This looks more like, now I see mountains back here in the back. See those mountains? But this would be the city. Big, tall buildings. See these houses? Maybe they're apartments or something right down here. Would you like to live here? I wouldn't. Whoa, there it is again. Look how big that city is. Ooh, that's pretty. That's pretty too. But not all of Honduras looks like that, does it? Is all of America beautiful? No. There's another picture of a big city there. It goes on for miles, doesn't it? All right. Let's look at our page then. We're going to be on this page today. Okay. Now, this is called Orphans in Honduras. So I'm going to read this to you. Remember our deal, though. You have to follow along with me, okay? Mr. Lopez waited for the class to settle down before asking a special missionary guest to talk to the class. Since Mrs. Clark spoke softly, the class had to listen closely as she told about a ministry for orphans in Honduras. The children were glad to learn that each orphan had a family with their own home and a mom and a dad to take care of them. Mrs. Clark handed out photos of the orphans. They had sweet smiles. There were babies and toddlers. There were kids the same age as those in the class, but some were older. Some of the girls wore braids and pigtails just like Claire. Whoa, I did the wrong thing, didn't I? Let me go down here. just like Claire. Many of them wore jeans and t-shirts just like Micah. Micah studied the picture of a shy little boy about his age that looked like he was smiling behind his hands. If only Micah could meet him, he was sure they'd be friends. When class was over, Micah and Claire were slow to leave. They looked at all the photos Mrs. Clark had shared. One picture showed a playground. Mrs. Clark said it was old and in need of repair. A group was coming to fix it soon. Another photo showed a strange clay oven and a woman cooking on top of it. The children were certain she was making tortillas. That reminded them it was time for lunch. As Micah and Claire went off to find their parents, they said that someday they will visit the orphans in Honduras. All right, so where was that missionary guest from? What was the country? Honduras. And what was the missionary guest's name? Wasn't it Mrs. Clark? Mrs. Clark. And who were in the photos that she was passing around for the kids to look at? They were kids in Honduras. They were orphans. Do you know what an orphan is? An orphan is a child who does not have a mom or dad. A lot of times their moms or their dads maybe they died, or sometimes if they were bad, maybe they got put in jail. Lots of different things, but usually an orphan is because their mom and dad both have been killed or they're dead some way, so they don't have a mom or dad left. Now, what was it that was old and needed to be replaced? Do you remember? It was their playground. What reminded Micah and Claire that it was time for lunch? They saw a picture of a lady cooking, right? And they said, "Ooh, I bet she's making tortillas." And they said, "Oh, it's time for lunch." Where did Micah and Claire say that they would go someday? To visit the orphans in the Honduras. That's where they wanted to go one day. Let's look at the next page. We're going to go ahead and start with our phonics parts. Now, this week we're going to start learning about words that have the long O sound. Okay, now remember the long O makes its own sound. It makes the O sound. It says, can you think of 3 words that have the long O sound in them? Can you think of some that have the long O sound? Boat. No. Can you think of some? All right, what we're going to do here, we're going to look at these words, and we're going to write a word that rhymes with each one of these. But remember, the ending does not have to be spelled exactly the same. It just needs to have the same ending sound. Okay, because sometimes they're not spelled the same way. So let's look at these and then we'll look back at our spelling words, okay? So let's think of a word that rhymes with cat. Can you think of one? I'm going to write the word fat. You might have thought of a different one. Now that one ends the same, doesn't it? It has the at sound. What about fox? Can you think of one that rhymes with fox? Can you think of it before I do, before I write it? Oh yeah, you know what I'm writing. Box. Plate. Can you think of a word that rhymes with plate? Are you using good handwriting? What about crate? Plate and crate, they rhyme. Can you think of a word that rhymes with red? It's one of my favorite places to go. To bed. Can you think of a word that rhymes with rust? If you have to do something, then that means you must do it. What about time? Can you think of a word? Try to beat me. Think of a word that rhymes with this word. Did you already write one? Did you write the same one, maybe? Dumb. What about toe? Think of a word that rhymes with toe. Look at this one. This one rhymes with toe, but it does not end the same, does it? No, it doesn't, but it still rhymes. It has the same sound. Toe and grow. Can you think of a word that rhymes with bake? It's another place that I like to go. You might have thought of something different one. A different word. How about lake? Bake and lake. They rhyme, don't they? Okay, I'm sorry. All right, let's look at our spelling words. I've put them on a new thing for you. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. I don't know how to make it into a... I was going to do it to where you could watch the thingamajigger, and I forgot to. I don't know how to do it. Okay. Oh, here it is. Here we go. Here's our new list. Are you ready? This is spelling list 9. Doe. See how it's spelled at the bottom? That's a female deer. A doe. Boat. There's a long O sound. No. Toe. This kind of toe is different. Not like the toe that's on your foot. That's T-O-E. But this toe means a truck has to tow. It has to pull something. That means the car is broken down. It has to be towed. Cold. Most. I couldn't find a good picture for most. And rose. I love a rose. All right, those are your spelling words for this week. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, well, where'd my thing go? I'm going to have you, well, can I get over here where we go? There we go. So I'm going to have you, I'm going to go ahead and have another link on your Google Classroom for you to go and practice your spelling words, okay? All right, that's all for today.